Hey, what's your name?
FN2187.
F...
What? That's the only name they ever gave me.
Well, I ain't using it. FN, huh? Finn, I'm gonna call you Finn, is that alright?
Finn. Yeah. Finn, I like that. I like that.
I'm Poe Dameron.
Good to meet you, Poe.
Good to meet you too, Finn.
You've never heard of the Millennium Falcon? Should I have? It's a ship that made the castle run in less than 12 parsecs.
All right, guys. So welcome to
Castle Run Weekly.
My name is Danny.
I'm Heather.
And welcome, guys, to our Holocron Book Club. Now, I know you missed us last week.
Yeah.
We decided to take a break off of Holocron since we were doing it for, what was it, like 2.5 months or something with Thrawn. So we took a week off and talked some Forces of Destiny. If you haven't checked that episode out, go ahead and check it out. But we are back with our Holocron Book Club with the Force Awakens. So we figured we want to go ahead and do this book because, I mean, The Last Jedi is coming up. I've never read a novelization of a movie. This is going to be a first for me, so I'm very excited, and it's great so far.
Really great.
Heather's really into it.
I am. I'm so into it. Okay, so I haven't been to bed, and my friend left at like 5 o'clock this morning, and I've been reading ever since, and it's an amazing book so far. But we'll get there.
Oh, and real quick, Elizabeth is here.
Hi,
She said,
Elizabeth.
missing the younglings today. They went back to school this morning. Oh, hi, younglings.
Might go tomorrow.
I have to keep my dog. Nobody else will take him. No, I'm just kidding. So not the same thing. But anyways, so yeah, guys. So we are talking about The Force Awakens by Alan Dean Foster. If you haven't read it, go ahead and get it so you can read along with us. We're doing chapters 1 through 5 today. And so I will confess, being one who normally prefers movies over books and things like that, because, I haven't been a reader until now. Thrawn was absolutely incredible. Loved it.
I'm sorry that I changed your life. I couldn't help it. Sometimes you just have to teach people that there's a better way.
I mean, I'll take it. Take it. So we've started into this and everything, and already it's different than the movie, and not like drastically different. Well, there's some things that I think we'll get into that.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's more is what I feel like. It's expanded it, and there's a lot more detail and depth to it and everything, and I love it.
I do too. And so the first thing that I opened to was the Journal of the Wills.
Mm-hmm.
And you know how I feel about the gray.
Oh, yeah.
So, first comes the day, then comes the night. After the darkness shines through the light. The difference, they say, is only made right by the resolving of gray through refined Jedi sight. So, is that a little foreshadowing to The Last Jedi?
I wonder, because, and I mean, I feel like it could be taken a couple of different ways. Because, I mean, it's talking about the day, the night, the darkness, and the light. So it's that middle ground, so that gray area and everything. And so I kind of took it a couple different ways. The first way, obviously, I took was how what you said, the Last Jedi. Because we've been talking about that on, I can't even count how many episodes we've mentioned that on, talking about how Rey may not necessarily be technically a gray Jedi, but she's going to be some form of it, where she's going to be able to wield both sides, because what if balance actually means wielding both sides of the Force? I mean, that makes sense.
It does.
Yeah, it's not, one faction against one faction with a balance. It's more of, that you have total control. Right. Exactly. You have total control of the Force, and you're able to wield the Force in its entirety, and not even just as a weapon, but how Chirrut Imwe in Rogue One. I am one with the Force, and the Force is with me.
That's who I thought of when I read this. I thought of him, and I could almost see him writing it.
Oh, absolutely.
And he, because the way I read it is, you resolve the gray, not necessarily making a gray Jedi, but you configure the gray through Jedi sight, which, you can control a true balance, maybe through the Last Jedi, and through his sight, you create a new thing.
Definitely, and that was one way that I took it. The second way was actually towards Kylo Ren, because and this is obviously foreknowledge of the movie and everything. We haven't gotten to this in the book or anything. I mean, this is literally page 1, guys.
Yeah, I don't even think it has a page.
Yeah. No, it's not even technically a page.
It's not a page.
It's our intro before the intro. But I mean, with this, I mean, and I kind of thought of this way only because how when the Force Awakens came out, I mean, there was the theory that Kylo Ren was a double agent, and that we do see that he is conflicted in the movie and things like that. I wonder if this pertains to him, that he's trying to resolve that middle ground that he's in of. Because he's feeling as if he wants to choose one faction or the other, trying to give in to the darkness and all this other kind of stuff, but the light keeps calling him. And so I wonder if that has something to do with him, and if we'll see that same formula play out to Rey.
Because he was a Jedi.
Mm-hmm. He was.
So that could make very good sense,
Oh, absolutely.
He could resolve the gray through his Jedi sight.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. So I feel like it could be taken a lot of different ways, as the Journal of Wills, I'm sure, can be. I mean, that's probably where the Chosen One prophecy came from. They were like, "Oh yeah, you know what? That was for me. That was me. That was what it was right there. This is the only meaning." But yeah, so I mean, just opening the book literally has already been just like mind blowing. Towards.
That, to me, when you say that, it's like a math problem. Because everybody always says, math is one way or another. There's right and there's wrong. But really, there's like several ways to get to an answer.
Mm-hmm. Oh, definitely.
As long as you get there, it doesn't matter how. I mean, as long as you're not like blowing up planets and stuff. But
I mean, there's a little weight there, right? That's kind of bad. I mean... So I mean, even moving from that, I mean, it's been awesome. And then you've got going into it, obviously the opening crawl.
Yes.
Luke Skywalker has vanished, all that and everything, which is really cool. But something very peculiar in the first chapter that I wasn't expecting. Like, actually, like, it didn't like throw me off. I was so on board with this and almost wished that it was in the movie. Is they open with Leia.
I loved it. I loved Organa, and she stood there and she saw her reflection, and it looked, frailer than she would have liked. But she was still strong, and she still knew exactly what to do, and she was still terrified, and she did what she needed to do anyway. And I loved it. I loved the opening.
Oh, definitely. Side note, guys, for anybody who hasn't gotten it yet, we are talking spoilers. If you're just now joining us for the book club and everything, we do spoil the book. So if you haven't read it and you intend to read it, come back to this episode later. Go ahead and download it, and it'll be there when you're ready. If spoilers don't mind you, hey, or you don't mind spoilers. I don't know how. I just Yoda that like really bad.
Really bad. Of course, I live in like Louisiana, so to me it's standard.
So I mean, if you don't mind spoilers, you are more than welcome to come join us. But pick up the book and read along with us. It's really cool to have a lot of people reading with us and interacting with us. Elizabeth, our number one book club goer, fan person, you are awesome. We can always count on Elizabeth, so thank you. But yeah, so I mean, going forward, just like you said with Leia, I mean, that was one thing that, I mean, the whole first half of that chapter was just so profound.
I love the opening. I love the opening sentence. She needed him, and he was nowhere to be found.
Right. It gives more depth to, because I mean, obviously she's looking for her brother throughout the movie and things like that. But I feel like that gives even more depth, because it's not just that she wants to know where Luke is, or hey, Luke needs to get back into the fight. It's she needed him. Right. Is how that opens, and she needed to know where he was. She needed his help and needed his guidance. She didn't understand why he had to go. Right. But at the same time, it felt like she did. Well, but it was more of like, you're my brother.
Kid,
yeah,
exactly. But I felt like she was kind of a side note in the movie.
I agree.
So when I open to this, I have very high hopes for her character. I also have high hopes for a lot of other characters. Because to me, where a movie can kind of seem flat, like Rey was amazing, don't get me wrong, but she was a little flat to me.
Well, and I think a lot of that comes from not knowing who she is totally yet.
Exactly. Yeah. But in here, she's got some sass.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, she's like doing barrel rolls, and she's like, you know, her and BB-8 are a little old married couple. And,
basically.
you know, there's real depth there. There's development, and it's hard. It's virtually impossible to portray that on film.
Yeah.
You know,
definitely.
That's why I like doing both. You know, having the book and having the movie. But I'm really liking this book.
Oh yeah, it's definitely changed my perspective on Rey completely. I almost kind of was like, I mean, I was really shocked and kind of disappointed in her too with the with BB-8, where she bargained with Unkar.
I liked that because she is a hardcore scavenger.
Yeah, and that shows that. Yeah,
she hasn't eaten very well in years, probably. And for her to have her food like just handed to her for like a year.
I could see that.
She could do anything she wanted. I mean, the whole world was opened up in that moment. And she's like, my belly is guaranteed food for as long as I can make it last. Can you imagine how tempting that's got to be to somebody that you've just met, that you don't know their mission? They won't tell you their mission. And all it is a beeping annoyance when all you want to do is be left alone.
Yeah, no, she just patted his head and he fell over.
He fell over, turned him off, said, I don't need you for this.
Exactly. I think it just kind of jarred me because, I mean, like you were saying in the movie, none of that really is portrayed. None of it comes across. She just seems good.
Right.
Good and pure is what it is.
Right.
And not necessarily that impures her or anything like that, or it's more of that you see the human in her.
Yeah, she's a human. She's human.
Yeah, whereas that's not really portrayed in the movie. It's portrayed as just that she's good.
Yeah,
that's it. She's really one-dimensional, and then she starts to open up towards the end. Yeah,
right. So that, to me, she always in the movie she always felt like she had an ability that she shouldn't have, like because she was way overpowered for 19 with absolutely no training.
Right.
I have a feeling though that we're gonna find out why.
Oh, yes. I can't wait.
And so I'm like, yay. Yes, I've had a lot of coffee.
She has had a lot of coffee. But yeah, I mean, like, and in that passage, though, and it shouldn't have been that impactful, but I mean, I guess it was to me. I mean, I read it like 4 or 5 times just to make sure I was reading what I was reading. I was like, hold on. So it didn't stop at 60 portions. She was like, no. 100, and then she backs out on the deal, which now I understand why Unkar was ticked off and went after her, because if we had just made a deal and you were like, nah, I'm good. Well, I mean, I'd have sent people after you too.
Right, but he really needed that droid.
Oh yeah, I mean, definitely.
100 portions was nothing compared to what he was going to get for that droid.
Absolutely.
So he would have sent after her regardless, but I loved how he, you know, they fawned over how he thought she was attractive and you know, really inspected all of her pieces and made her feel uncomfortable on purpose, and you know, and then finally she got to chew him out and say, you know, no, you can keep your food and I'll keep my droid, and he's useless to me and I'm going to keep him anyway.
Right. Exactly.
And then he's like, who do you think you are? And she's like, I'm this person, and you can bite it, I guess, or whatever. I loved it. I loved seeing that real personality come out, because you know that someone that pure and soft would not make it on Jakku. Not doing what she does.
I really wish that we would have gotten to see some of that in the movie, for sure. because it would have given a lot more to her character, and maybe we see that in Last Jedi more.
Well, it's hard to portray. It's just really hard to portray. But I'm, now I can see maybe she will go a little gray. Maybe, she got her some sass.
She definitely does. Now, I know you're running theory on who Rey's parents are. Your theory on it being Leia. Did you see Leia in that scene?
I don't know. I didn't think about it. I just, when I read, I get so into the moment that I'm not one of those that sees foreshadowing. And,
okay. I look for that.
I know, so many people do, and I'm just so literal, and in that, like if I read it the third and fourth time, then I can.
Yeah.
But, at the beginning, I just get so into the words that I'm seeing it happen, and I don't even realize I'm reading anymore, and it's a movie at that point.
Oh, definitely. I mean, personally, I felt like, and even thinking about it now, because I was more shocked than anything when I read it, because I wasn't expecting that. Because I mean, like, again, I've never read a movie novelization or anything like that. Like, I just watched the movies is all. So, like, I'm really excited to dive into the rest of these after this too. But yeah, I mean, like, seeing that sass in her, that spunk and everything of that.
Now that you mention it, maybe it is a lot of Leia in there.
It reminded me a lot of when they first meet her in A New Hope, when Luke and Han are going to go save her, and the whole too short for a stormtrooper and get this walking carpet out of my way.
Well, I'll
kind
save our skins and
exactly. Well, I guess I'll be the one to go ahead and save us, and just things like that. Like I felt like her kind of go get attitude through that whole thing. It reminded me a lot of her. That strength and that no nonsense of I got things to do. Let's wrap this thing up. Definitely. Going to a comment real quick. Elizabeth actually had commented on here too. I felt that way about Rey as well. The book makes her more human and flawed. There is more to her than this superpowered woman.
Exactly. I love that because it's so true. You can just. She's just got a lot of depth to her, and she's not just this pristine thing that happens to be perfect.
Right, and I hate that she was portrayed that way now. Like, it's not like necessarily that the book's ruined in the movie or anything, but I'm almost kind of like, give me more, feed me.
This is more though. You have to. When you do the novelizations, just so you know, because you're going to do it for the rest of your life now, when you do it, you just have to know that it's a supplement, I
got you.
So, as long as it's done well, there's not major changes. Like in Dreamcatcher, where it was, like, horrible. But
you're not the first person I've heard make that comparison.
I was sitting there going, that's not really happening, right? Because I had read the book and it was amazing, but that was totally different. Sometimes it doesn't go the way it's supposed to go, but these, because they're canon, they can't really change them very much, and you can be safe to read the book and watch the movie and use them in conjunction with each other to really understand the story.
Definitely. I mean, it's been really cool so far and everything. Now, past that, I haven't really seen any other major changes. Finn kind of gets on my nerves a little bit. I didn't expect that. Really? Yeah, to me, he kind of seemed a little more whiny than he's portrayed in the movie, which I'm thankful that he's not portrayed that way.
He's totally portrayed as a whiny in the movie.
Really?
Yeah.
See, I never thought of him that way. I mean, I saw him more fearful in the movie than anything.
That's how I saw him in the book.
Yeah.
I mean, can you imagine growing your entire life from a baby into this person that is to mow down people? And then you think that it's going to be awesome and, and it's going to be pumped. You're going to be pumped and everything. And then you start seeing blood everywhere. And the person that you dined with, you joked with, you took showers with. I mean, this is the person that you've been with your entire life is sitting there, and then you watch everybody just mowed down for no reason. I'd be whiny too.
Well, and see, I could see him being fearful and everything, but like, I don't know, like maybe it was the way he was written. I'm not sure, but I'm fine with the protest. Obviously, that's his character. He's gonna protest. He's not up for adventure right now. He just saw, like you said, a massacre.
He needs to get out of there.
Exactly. He just needs to go. Yeah. But like, I don't know. Like, he's just kind of. Maybe it's too early to tell.
Maybe so. I found him less annoying in the book, personally.
Okay.
Because he, to me, I could, instead of just seeing, I can see how that would be traumatizing. It went into, there was literally blood everywhere. They can't show that.
That scene was graphic in the book,
they can't show that in the movie. And, and I get that. I wouldn't want to see it, but I can see it in here, and I can see how that would, like... And then I gotta go back to Jakku, and he...
Are you kidding me?
And then to walk for miles and miles and miles in the dead of the desert without any help or any hope. And then as soon as you finally get to civilization, somebody's beating you up.
Yep. he has it rough, for sure.
He does. He's having a very hard time. He's having a bad day. He's having a very bad day.
Yes. He's definitely having a very bad day.
I loved when he got on that transport and he lost his lunch in the refuge. That was a part of something that, really humanized him.
Definitely. It definitely added a little bit more to his character, I think. Because, I mean, in the book, in the movie, I see more of that fear in him. In this, obviously there's fear. I mean, he just saw something horrific go down, and he was technically a part of it. I can see that, but it almost got to the point where it was like, what are you doing? Like, he almost reminded me of Luke. At first, the farm boy Luke. Yes. Like, what are you doing? Why are we going back to Jakku? We can't go back there. And I was just kind of like,
I read it totally different. I read it as, are you kidding me? We're going back to Jakku? I mean, are you nuts? I mean, can you imagine somebody telling you, I broke you out of this maximum security facility, and your life is basically here because of me, and you're gonna kill me over it.
Yeah. Pretty much.
Yeah. But so I get ya. I feel ya. I just read it in a different
I hear
voice.
You. I'm hoping that changed too, because I mean, I actually enjoyed Finn, the little bit that we do know about him, and the little bit seeing him come around. Yeah, I'm sure there's something there.
I'm
sure that there's something there with him.
And, he's such an enigma, and I can't wait to see, because because I've always, with Star Wars, people shoot down and mow down the stormtroopers. They're like nothing. And to me, even in Rebels, when they're shoving them off the sides of cliffs and stuff, they're people.
Still people, yeah, you're right.
And
they're not clones anymore or anything, which, I mean, clones were people, but I mean...
were people. I mean,
yeah.
And so I see them as people. And yes, they are flawed and they do bad things because they've been indoctrinated into this society. But at the very core, they're human. And so Finn, to me, epitomizes that he could go from an indoctrination so profound that it brainwashes you into killing people on a regular.
Yeah.
And then just go, you know what? It's going to kill me, but I can't.
Oh, yeah. Definitely. He's making a decision, making a statement. Yeah. For sure.
And he's like, I'm going to get you out of here because it's the right thing to do. No, it's because I need a pilot. But
exactly.
Still, we're going to do this,
Right.
At least we're being honest with each other.
Exactly. You get more of the bro between him and Poe for sure in the book, going back and forth.
And I love the look on Finn's face when he gets his name, Finn, because the actor did a very good job, but there's just nothing like seeing it happen.
Oh, definitely, yeah. It's like watching the movie in a different way altogether.
Right.
This is the movie I made kind of thing in my head, but yeah,
because there's a slight amusement on the actor's face, but in here, I mean, there's sheer joy that he has been assigned humanity for the first time in his entire life, and that's what Poe gave to him was humanity.
Absolutely, completely agree. That's really cool. So Hux and Kylo Ren are a little bit more aggressive towards each other in the book than they are in the movie, I feel. Because it seemed more like in the movie to me that Hux was more so trying to put down Kylo. Right. But in the book, he seems to really be holding his own, Kylo to Hux.
Yeah. They're both very volatile to each other.
Oh, definitely.
With good reason. I mean... one of them rose to power through work and determination and brutality, and one of them rose to power because he's got powers. Yep.
It was literally handed to him. So, yeah. So, they definitely don't like each other, for sure.
And then, Ren sits there and's like, questioning his, abilities and things. And it's like, one rogue stormtrooper does not mean that my entire army is poop.
Exactly.
Proud of me, huh?
Oh, yeah. But yeah, and I love the back and forth between him and Kylo because I don't feel like there was that much of that in the movie. Which, I mean, obviously you're constricted on time. You've got to make it in this time. Can't let the scenes draw on too long. I get that. But, I mean, I feel like seeing a little bit more of the back and forth between Kylo and Hux going back and forth, I think would have been a lot cooler. Just because, I mean, we did establish that rivalry,
animosity.
I think, in the movie. Yeah, they definitely don't like each other. You can tell that in the movie, but
the
having
actors
that
could really stare each other down, but there was not that repertoire.
Oh, yeah, definitely. So that's one thing that I feel like I missed in the movie, now that I know that it's in the book. Didn't know I missed it till I found out. So yeah, I just overall, like, I love the depth to everything. So I mean, so far it's not been wildly different, but there's like these little Easter eggs here and there, these expanded characters almost and everything, and that's what I've loved so far. So I mean, it's at that point in the book right now where we're just setting the characters, we're learning about them. Whereas in the movie it was go, and you got these the cliff notes to every character. So, yeah.
People want the action. They don't want to sit there and see exposition or character development.
Well, and to be clear, not knocking the Force Awakens. I absolutely love the Force Awakens.
I loved it.
Yeah,
it's just
definitely
is a supplement.
Right. Definitely.
You watch the movie, you read the book. Watch the movie, read the book.
Yes, I'm definitely enjoying the depth that it's giving to all the characters and everything. I'm definitely excited to see what happens with Rey. Now that there's a little bit more going on with her and everything, I'm almost kind of leaning towards your Leia theory, but we shall see. We shall see.
I would think it would be. I seriously doubt that I'm right in any way, but it would be amazing if it were, because I think that they would be such a pair.
Yeah, well, definitely. Well, that's a different episode. Well, I was about to go into something, but that's another time. So did you have
write it down?
Right. Did you have any last thoughts or anything else you wanted to say about the book or anything like that? We do have a question from Elizabeth here in just a second.
Tell me the question and I'll think.
Well, the question is, and it's not necessarily pertaining to the book, but she was commenting on our parentage of Rey that we were briefly talking about. She said, how do you feel about the theory that Rey could be a Kenobi? My sister thinks she could be another Anakin conceived by the Force.
See, I thought that maybe Rey could be, a Plagueis Force baby. I just, I really like I just really like the Leia theory.
Mm-hmm.
For some reason, I don't know why. I guess because it's different, and I haven't heard it.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to be right, probably. So why not just have fun?
Oh, definitely. Yeah. I mean, as far as her being a Kenobi, like I feel like, I mean, nothing's impossible with Star Wars.
Impossible.
I mean, anything could happen, but I feel like
be a grandchild of some sort.
I would think so too, because I mean, I don't know the depth and the weight of Satine's death in Clone Wars. I don't feel like Kenobi's another one to be like, oh well, it's time to move on. Because I mean,
he lived a long time in the desert. I get that, but
in solitude though.
And think about how old Luke is. How old Ben was when Luke was.
Right.
When Ben died. And how old it just doesn't.
Right. It would have had to been a
grandchild,
a kid that he didn't know of from Satine or something like that. Right. That went to have on their own children. It'd have to be generations. So
yeah,
I think it's a little less likely, but again, it's not impossible.
I think
like
it would
the
be
theory.
cool if it was.
Yeah, because I mean that means that Kenobi was able to be with the love of his life. Yes. That's ultimately what that would mean, and that would be really cool. So yes. I love Kenobi and Satine. That whole storyline involving Darth Maul and the Shadow Collective and all that broke my heart. So I'm definitely on board.
It was meant to break your heart.
Absolutely. Yeah. I don't think it was a happy-go-lucky kind of thing.
Than to break your heart, ever.
Absolutely.
And people call it a kid's book. Kid's story.
Oh, goodness. Yeah. I mean, to a degree, but...
I think it's a family story.
Definitely more... I would go with that. Yeah. I would definitely go with that.
Do not think it's a children's story at all. I mean...
There were a lot of episodes of Clone Wars where it was definitely not for children.
And, I feel... like I said, it's a very much a family story.
Absolutely.
But that could be suitable for children, but it is not for children.
Agreed.
In my opinion. But I'm very outnumbered in that.
I mean, I could definitely see that, because there's stories the stories of Star Wars that, yes, are geared towards children. A lot of the prequels are geared towards children, but the darker that they get, the more mature it gets, the more it gets a little out of that realm of children, per se. I would say probably preteen kind of.
Right. I mean,
so, yeah.
Even Rebels, when you're like hurling people off of cliffs and the dude gets stabbed through the chest, but that was in Clone Wars. But, I mean, it's a brutal thing.
Oh, yeah. It's definitely.
But, yeah.
Oh, definitely. So, did you have any final thoughts on the book?
Oh, man. I'm trying to. Okay. We ended with Chapter 5 with Rey hearing the map to Luke Skywalker. For the first time. And I loved Luke Skywalker. I thought he was just a myth. And that's where we ended Chapter 5. And I was like, I don't know why that registered with me, but it was an excellent place to end.
Oh, definitely.
Our 5 chapters.
Oh, absolutely.
Just so y'all know, last book we did 3 chapters, and we thought about doing that this time. We thought it might not be as episodic. So we did 5, and it turned out perfectly.
Oh, yeah, it did.
Because 3 chapters just wouldn't have been the same.
No, because, 3 chapters in, I think we're just now getting to where Poe and Finn are thinking about escaping.
Right.
So, yeah, it definitely moves a little bit slower than Thrawn did, but, it's also a movie novel. So, it's based on that. So yeah. But, no, I think that's great, because the way that ends, it propels the rest of the book. Because that's the goal, that's the objective for the rest of the book, is to find Luke Skywalker.
Right.
Take the map to Luke Skywalker, go find him, bring him back. And so with it ending there, I feel like it really kicks it off. So I think that's really, really cool too.
So Luke Skywalker has always been the defender and hero of the galaxy. And now I wonder, because everyone is putting their faith in him. His sister, I needed him. And he wasn't there. Rey, I thought he was a myth. You know, everybody is looking for this one man. He's done it before. Surely he can save the universe again, or the galaxy again, right?
Right.
And I'm wondering, I'm like, you know, I get it. He's done it, and you know, you can trust him, and he's a good guy and everything. But, I just wonder if everybody's putting all their eggs in a very fragile basket.
I think that's what's going to end up happening in The Last Jedi. Because Rian Johnson, I think it was during Celebration, they were talking to him about what to expect. And he was talking about how one of the themes in the movie is that sometimes your idols don't necessarily live up to their expectations, which is
I can't wait
huge.
to see a human Luke.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
I mean, I can't wait.
Well, and that's the thing. Like, with all these characters, we're getting more human characters.
Right.
More flawed and everything. They're not just these perfect comic book characters on the screen. They have issues. They have hang-ups. And
can you imagine
it's awesome.
the issues that you would have, like losing your nephew, and thinking that you're going to rebuild an entire Jedi society, and then just it getting destroyed by the one person that you love the most?
Oh, yeah. Definitely.
So, I think, because it's very, Luke-centric, and I feel like going into The Last Jedi that they're putting all of their eggs in the Luke basket, and
it's going to come down to someone else.
It is.
I think it's going to be collectively people, though. I don't think it's going to be just on Rey.
I do too.
I think it's going to be collectively. I think Kylo is going to have a play in it, and it's going to be strange.
The more that I'm thinking about Kylo, like the more I've learned and everything, the more I'm feeling that he might turn again. He might be part of the Gray with Rey, and
definitely,
they could be the chosen one together to bring truth balance. One
absolutely
from the light and
yeah.
one from the dark.
Well, and that's the thing is, like, if you think about it too, he's been on both sides, so he has the experience for both sides.
Exactly.
Whereas he's just kind of feeling out the Force and not really understanding what's going on, but he knows both sides, and so he's been
magic,
there.
And he's like hardcore.
Look, I've been training for this.
Yeah,
yeah definitely. Well, and that's the thing is, like, a lot of people that I've been reading, I mean, it's kind of a callback, if it happens that way, a callback to the Old Republic with Darth Revan, which unfortunately is no longer canon. But
Legends
in the
are
same
still
sense
valid.
that legends are still valid. But I mean, as far as Darth Revan, I mean, he was the only Jedi to go to the Sith and then back to being a Jedi. He walked that line, and he's about as close to Grey as there was. And so even though he's not canon, it would be cool to see Kylo flirt with that a little bit.
Yeah,
it would see there's more, because he's still getting that call to the light.
Right, manifest that into a current character that's not
Absolutely.
just legend.
Definitely. I completely agree.
So that was do we have any questions? And then
no, I think we already went through all of our questions. Yeah, I got all of those questions and everything. So we're actually good to wrap up.
Awesome.
Cool. All right, guys. So thank you for joining us for our first of many Holocron Book Club for The Force Awakens by Alan D.
Many. There's only like 4 episodes.
I mean, but we're going to continue that.
We are.
I mean, there's
through
4
the whole
episodes.
Book.
Exactly.
And then look,
So, yeah.
we've got plenty.
There's so many more. Yes. Well, and I mean, and even coming up, Force Friday, Phasma is coming out, the novel for that, which is going to be interesting.
You're killing me.
And then you got Inferno Squad, right? So we've got and there's all these other canon books that have been out for forever that we're just now getting to as well.
I got the first 4 episodes of Darth Vader.
Oh, okay. What do you think so far?
I haven't been able to start them because I have A Song of Ice and Fire.
Oh, yes.
And then I also have The Force Awakens, and I'm like totally swamped. But I am really looking forward to it.
Oh, you'll love it. I haven't read the 4th one yet. It just came out, I think, last week. Yeah, last week. I'm trying to remember what day it is. But yeah, it just came out last week.
And I got the Poe Dameron for the Jess story that I'm going to write eventually.
Yes. You want to talk about that a little bit? Because I know we hadn't really hit on that in a minute.
We?
Yeah.
Okay. So I have this book of Mad Libs somewhere, and it's Star Wars Mad Libs, and I love them because they're amazing. And so I like to write little things, and so I am putting out, a specific item, and you put in your input, and I choose one, and ours was Jess Parva for the major character. She's obscure enough for me not to ruin any canon. And I'm not big on major characters. As far as her weapons, we got a lot of really good weapons. I felt that they were all pretty standard. And I was hoping I'm going to use at least 2 of them but I call to you, if you have a creative weapon out there, it could be a good weapon, could be a bad weapon, it could be anything. Think about it. Challenge me. Don't just say this and such blaster was standard at the time of her, blah, blah. No, challenge me. Yeah. Put me to the test. I might not rise, but at least I can try.
There you go. Cool. And we'll be putting out more for the Mad Libs coming up as well.
Definitely.
Because we definitely need to continue that, because I want to see the finished story, to be honest.
I do too. I've been thinking about it. I think it's going to be her own personal story, a personal story to her. I don't want to put Poe in it. He's too mainstream for me.
Hipster Heather.
Well, I mean, you've seen my fanfic. It's very obscure, and I don't even think it had any kind of canon in it at all. It's just mainly.
It was a very cool perspective, for sure.
I thought so. As a mother,
and it's on our website if you want to read it.
It is. If you love something, let it go. It's from the perspective of a mother losing her child to the Jedi. So, anyway, yes, I am writing a story, Mad Lib story, and I still have to read about Jess because I really want to capture her character before making a story for her.
There you go. So cool. So help us out.
Yeah,
let's make it happen.
I want this to be a group effort because I want it to be everyone's, not just mine.
Absolutely, and we love talking with you guys. We've got actually a lot of friends on Facebook that we've been talking back and forth with. You guys are really cool. At FoxRono9T, I think I pretty much talk to you about just every day, so I appreciate it. It's really cool. So little shout out. But yeah, I mean, it's cool making making friends with all of you guys.
It is.
Because you guys are awesome. You guys have great perspectives on Star Wars, and it's just fun to talk with other Star Wars fans.
It's great to talk to Danny. It is. I love it. I do it every day. But I like to talk to other people too.
We're not exclusive. It's okay, guys. So guys, definitely check out our social media and everything. We're on pretty much everything at Kessel Run Weekly. And if you want to find us all in one place, it's KesselRunWeekly.com. And so we'll have a episode coming out this Friday, Kenobi versus Vader, which is going to be pretty awesome. We're going to be recording that here soon this week. So if you have any questions or if you want to talk about Kenobi versus Vader with us, please, by all means, we'll give you a shout out on the show, and we'll answer your questions and things like that and discuss.
And we have a Facebook group. I mean, you're watching this on Facebook, so just so you know, there's a Facebook group where we go and we like to talk Star Wars with people. And we got a lot of great people, but we like more even.
Absolutely. We can never have enough friends.
Never can have enough.
So guys, be sure to check us out. Check our group out, KesselRunWeekly.com. And until next time,
I'm Heather.
And I'm Danny. May the Force be with you.